Operation status quo. Operation status quo. Prepare to engage. Operation status quo. Ready to engage. Operation status quo. Engaged. Engaged. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Operation Status Quo post-Christmas, the day after Christmas. I hope you guys had a great holiday yesterday and enjoyed time with your family, your friends, your kids, your pets, or maybe just by yourself, whatever was in the cards for you yesterday, and I hope you enjoyed it no matter what you were doing out there. I intended to come on yesterday, and I started to, and then I was having a few computer issues, and, honestly, I just didn't feel like it was Christmas Day, you know what I mean? I didn't feel like fighting with it, and I was getting a little agitated, and the last thing I want to do is come on to present myself to you, the beautiful people out there, with any kind of frustration or aggravation. Although I'm a little bit fired up today, as our topic, the title of our topic may indicate, but we'll get into that in just a moment, because first of all, I am Pete Palma. I am your user-friendly host, broadcasting live from the comfy confines of my very own home, ladies and gentlemen. And this, of course, is Operation Status Quo. It is the place where we observe the status quo of life. We learn to flow with the status quo of life. And then, of course, we create our own flow of quo, because that's the only way to go. So I appreciate you being here. I love you guys out there. You know I do. So, this is a place of, as we're moving here towards the end of this year, moving into 2024, a reminder that this is a place of love and joy and togetherness, no matter what we talk about, no matter how it goes. Ultimately, at the end of the day, we always have to take a step back and just remind ourselves and remember that, this life is the dream, not to dismiss, people's feelings, not to dismiss some of the severe things that are happening in the world that seem so crazy, not to make light of anything, but the ultimate truth is, and really a saving grace and a place that really can bring us to a happier world, in my opinion anyway, is that this is just the dream, this life, and we're all here to learn lessons, and we all have, our purpose and such, and, everyone is on a different path, and, and it's just always going to be a certain level of haphazardness in our physical duality-laced existence, right? Because it's just part of the nature of being human. This is what people don't understand. This is why I'm frustrated a little bit in regard to what I'm going to be talking about today, because I just can never get it through my head, how it can be, but that's my own problem. Because, a caveat to everything that I'll be talking about, is no matter what, is the remembrance that we are all spiritual beings. We're energetic beings having this, physical experience. We're so much more than this flesh and blood and what we are, right? So, but we're so entrenched in our physicality, so entrenched in our thought patterns and our beliefs and everything else that, it just keeps us sometimes in these spaces. But it's okay to be in those spaces because, again, we're all here to learn lessons, and sometimes each individual needs to be in the space they need to be in, right? So that they can learn the lessons that they need to learn. It's all a higher plan. So, with all that being said, that's great, but, on a day-to-day level and a human level, like me, I always say I'm not Pete. I'm the observation of Pete's existence, which is ultimately true. And I try to live that way as much as possible. But, on top of it, again, going back to the fact that, this is a physical world of duality, I'm also Pete. I am the observation of Pete, but I happen to be Pete as well. So, it's a lot of work to be two things at once. Anyway, so, and on the Pete side of things, sometimes I get really frustrated at the way our humanity communicates with each other. I mean, forget about the powers that be that mean to do us harm and such, or, corporate structures or political structures or what that want to keep us enslaved in a certain way. Aside, forget about all that. Like just the everyday people, right? People who are just trying to live their lives, trying to be with their families, trying to have a career, trying to do whatever, like why are we always fighting with each other? Again, because it comes from the top down, they create that level of division. But I would love to see our society, awaken a little bit more and have a little more like, no, you're not going to get me there. Hold on a second, right? And for us to, no matter what's going on in the world, not to turn against, our fellow man on this level, because that's what they want us to do. They want the general population to always be at each other's throats for a variety of reasons that they can, create so that, we never really get anywhere. We're always fighting amongst ourselves while they keep, doing all the stuff that they're doing. So today, ladies and gentlemen, is the 26th of December in the good year 2020. 2023. And today's program is indeed entitled Intolerant, Opinionated, and Clueless. Yes. And, this came to me, and I'm going to make this very benign and non-descriptive of the parties involved. I like to protect the lives of the innocent, as it were. So I'm going to say this in a very kind of general way, but it will lead me to the overall point. So, and guess what? Hold on. I just said an overall point. I may have a point today. Oh my God. It's my New Year's resolution, ladies and gentlemen, is to have a point when I do the show. I'm working on it. But anyway, so I had a conversation with a friend of mine yesterday, and I want to speak slowly so I make sure I don't give away any information that's not pertinent to the overall message that I'm trying to send. But this conversation put me in this space of thinking this way. So I've been friends with this person for getting close to 30 years now, right? So a long time, and we're good friends, so there's no problem with us. But this person has had a relationship with another person, right? I'm not giving any genders. I'm just keeping everything really clean here, right? So this person has a relationship with another person, and that relationship, I don't think they've probably been together. Geez, I don't even know. Early 2010. I don't know if it was before that. I'm not even sure, but it's been a number of years that they have been together, right? So. And I know both of them very well, but of course my initial friend, the one that I've known for close to 30 years, was my friend first, right? So, long story short, this person was just telling me some information. I guess I'm not getting into any of their personal relationship details or anything, but just to make a long story, very short, they're going through, some issues at this time. And quite honestly, I was very surprised, to hear this, because I know them both well. I always thought they were, pretty good, together and everything. But I will say this, that, and, after this person explained to me what was going on, in the relationship with them and this this period of problem that they're having, it just really clicked in my head of how different, how since COVID, how the division of personalities or viewpoints or whatever you want to say has really come to fruition. Because my initial friend, the one from over 30 years, is more, is more of I would just say more of a open. I wouldn't say, it's more of an open-minded, free-thinking, kind of type person, right? Doesn't get hung up on a lot of the social details that we're supposed to, like I always talk about, like yesterday being Christmas. Just because it's Christmas doesn't mean you have to jump and do anything out of the norm of what you really don't want to do. I'm very big on telling people all the time, and this is what I told my friend yesterday too. I just said it's really important, and I would encourage everyone to just be honest with themselves as to, who they are, what their needs are, what they know of themselves, of what they accomplish in a day. Like, just be real with yourself of who you are, how you function, what makes you happy, and you live that, and you don't put pressure on having to be with anybody else, whether it be family, friends, co-workers, anything. You don't put any pressure on yourself to have to take yourself out of the realm of, your I don't say, obviously sometimes you work with people, right? You concede certain things or compromise in certain ways. I don't mean like that, but at the core of everything, you have to be realistic with yourself and do what's right for you. If you know you're going to be miserable in a situation, you don't put yourself in the situation. You just be honest. Listen, I know if I do this, I'm going to be miserable, so I'm not doing that. If the other person can't respect your space for that or understand you in that regard or have the ability to be, like I'm saying, we're all observation points, so of not having the ability to respect someone else's space that way and not be aware enough of your own space to see, the projection that you're putting on others, for your own fears and such. If somebody doesn't have that kind of space to give to you, whoever you are out there, then you don't need them in your life. I mean, I'm saying it to like be a jerk. I'm just saying it's like always about boundaries and stuff. So I know that this other person, the secondary person in the relationship, was always really really, really nice to me. I mean, for a long time. Like, I mean, really over the top. Not over the top. I mean, just very nice to me, right? Appreciated me as a friend and everything else, and a friend of this person's relationship partner and everything. So we didn't have any problems. But it wasn't until 2020, when 2020 came around, and all the crap with the pandemic and everything with Trump. Then all of a sudden, this person, all of a sudden, they didn't want to talk to me anymore. Now I'm like, I'm crazy. Something's wrong with me because I'm very outspoken, on all this stuff. And and this person, the secondary person in this situation, is more of a, and I don't want to get political and everything, because I don't buy into it so much. But I mean, it just is what it is. I can't help that certain portions of this information falls within the realm of that arena, right? But the truth is, that this person here is more of a on the left, whatever you want to say. They hate Trump, definitely believe in the pandemic, wearing masks, just a typical, I really feel badly, because I don't want to make this like a criticism and like an anger thing, but I do really get frustrated with this level of thought process and this particular, these type of people that we've been dealing with for almost 4 years now, right? And what I think about the beauty of COVID, quite honestly, is that it really separated the weak from the strong. I mean, it's just really plain and simple. And I'll be harsh in that regard in some way. If you're a person out there, and I don't want to alienate my audience, because everyone's welcome here. If you have a differing opinion or thoughts you want to share, I'm open to it. So please feel free to drop your comments in the comments. But ultimately, it separated the weak from the strong. Those that believed right away what was going on, the narrative, those who started masking up, those who were willing to stay locked down in their house, those who were running out to get their poison jab and everything else, like they're the weak. I'm really sorry to say it, but it's really the truth. They're the weak because they don't have the mindset to, first of all, believe in the power of themselves and understand how to care for your own body, that, you don't even have to worry about the outside so much. But I mean, that's a whole nother story, but just the fact that, they bought it hook, line, and sinker, and, and all the stuff with Trump, I understand people hate Trump, and it's just stupid, people, I'm telling you, man, like, this is why I called it, intolerant, opinionated, and clueless. This whole woke left thing, this whole thing is just the most intolerant, like, just dirty people like I've ever encountered. I can't even fathom it. I can't put it into words in a sense. Like, I can't even believe it, because I really love everybody and I want to see everybody, be together. And, for somebody like me to even to talk to a person who's kind of leaning that way and thinking in that regard, if I was to try to just explain like what I'm explaining here, right, it's met with intolerance. It's met with their staunch opinions that there's no breaking from. And it's also met with their total, showing how clueless they are, because, it just speaks for itself, man. Like, I mean, anybody who's been really engaged over the past 4 years, I mean, you just have to see what's going on. And for those that are still who talk about, and that's the same thing with this person. That's why I was trying to give my, I don't want to give advice. I told my friend last night, listen, I have no problem with, either one of you guys. I mean, obviously I said to the person, I said, obviously you're my friend first, what I'm saying? But at the same time, it's not about pointing fingers and who's a bad person and who to do. It's really just about aligning yourself to, what you believe in and standing true. And I think that's everything about what's going on right now in this world. And it's really the most important thing for us to focus on, all aspects of the outside world. I talk about stuff with the quote unquote, truth community sometimes. And, when I first started this journey, and well, I mean, it was even before 2020, but I mean, I wasn't considered the truth community back then, but things that I would watch that would talk about a lot of, underground news that we wouldn't hear normally, and different opinions and perspectives and, thought processes, but once, COVID happened and I really started getting into more stuff. And then this whole, truth community thing started evolving, on social media and such. And I got a lot of really great information out of it, from the beginning. Now it becomes more difficult to even be entrenched in some of that, because again, I talk about you have to have non-attachment, right? We can't get too deep in any one way, because, the more we hold on to some of those belief systems, the more we get deep into one way of thought, whether we think it's righteous or not, we're still, making the dream of this life real, and we're still like taking away from, the peace and our center point. We're still like diving into this crap, right? So whichever side it is. And I've noticed even in the truth community, I mean, there's so much like gaslighting, narcissism, ego, maniacal, crap that goes on with that. Of course, it's human nature. These people, some of them are trying to make money, off of the stuff, even with Q and everything. I wholeheartedly believe in Q. I mean, I apologize for people who think it's ridiculous or stupid, but if you paid attention to it, over the past 4 years, the way I have, and have, some of the people that dissected and such, and the information I've seen, I mean, it speaks for, it really does speak for itself. It's just a no-brainer, right? But that's all twisted up, and then you get a bunch of people out there in that truth community who take advantage of that kind of stuff. And, who's ever making predictions with this date, this is going to happen, and this date, this is going to happen, and and, everybody's already been arrested and they're in Guantanamo Bay, or they've been executed, and, everything we're watching is a show. I do believe everything we're watching is a show. But at the same time, we still don't know what level of what. This is what I'm just saying, man. Like, we got to all just take a breath, right? We all just got to take a breath. Ultimately, the only life that really exists is you in this moment, right here with your breath, right now, the breath you're taking, your eyes blinking, right this moment. That's all that's existing. And all of us, our only responsibility is to be real with ourselves, right? And to be honest with ourselves, and to try to put out as much good as possible, and to, just to go back a little bit to just saying with my friends here, this, again, my friend's talking about what's going on with the relationship, and, and the partner here, is now, doesn't feel safe with this person, and and all this kind of goofy shit, that exactly what they do on this weak-minded, way, always like, oh, you're a threat. Oh, you're a bully. Oh, and it's always this way, like, but, I'd like to say to this other person, if I was to speak to this person, what have you done to look at yourself and reflect and say, you're pointing fingers, and this is again, I'm not getting into any details, but some of the things that this person's pointing fingers, at my friend, is this person's doing the same stuff in different ways, but nobody wants to ever see that. That's the thing I'm trying to say. We're all like guilty in a sense, right? We all have our ways and such. So there's no reason to, put so much pressure. Listen, it is what it is with relationships, whether it be family, whether it be intimate relationships, friendships, working relationships, things come and go, and it's just part of life, right? Like, you meet people sometimes for a time, you get through a certain period of your life, you learn whatever lesson you need to learn, and people drift apart because their souls have other lessons to learn, and they came together for that time to learn what you need to learn, and you move on. Like, so, but, just this level, and, again, I'm bringing this up in a way because I was just so surprised, because I know these people well, and I was just, surprised. I mean, I'm not totally surprised in a way, because I know that this other person, is super, leaning left and all that crap, and it's just, I would just like to get it. I just want to be demonstrative about this, in for one moment, and say, I am telling you out there, okay, and I believe this 100% with my heart, and I don't care what kind of feedback, negative, whatever people want to say, people want to unsubscribe or not like me or whatever. There was no pandemic, okay? Can we get it through our freaking heads? Can anybody get it through their freaking heads? That, it's just like anything else, just another virus. Give it a name, make a media, campaign, If you can't see that it wasn't so obvious, what they were doing to disrupt the election, and guess what? I'm going to tell you too, I 100% believe Trump won the election. Oh, I guess I'm an election denier. I guess I'm a terrorist, right? Yeah, but Trump won that election, okay? And on top of it too, let me give you number 3. There was no insurrection, okay? No insurrection, all right? So, I mean, like, it's just bullshit, man. And there's proof of all this shit. And the funny thing is, nobody gives a crap. Nobody's even open to listen. It's just they want to just hate Trump. They just want to hate him. You want to hate him. And if and anybody that says anything that goes outside of anything else, is crazy. And just to say, let me go to my Facebook real quick because I posted this. I just want to make sure I read this quote right because it's the truth about living in the matrix and such, and how people are so programmed and want to hold on to their beliefs like so bad that they're willing to live in the shit. You know what I'm saying? Like they're willing to turn on their friends, turn on their families, turn on everybody. Let's see if I can find this real quick. How long ago did I post this thing? It was a quote from the Matrix when Morpheus is talking to Neo, and he tells him, "You have to understand, most of these people are not ready to be unplugged, and many of them are so inured, so hopelessly dependent on the system that they will fight to protect it." And that's what I see. Like, not for anything. Let's just be real. How many people do you see out there, the ones that are fighting to protect the system? Just like I saw today. I took a walk, and there's a little shopping center on the corner here of outside of my development where I live, and there's a Dunkin' Donuts in there. And as I passed by, I mean, the line of cars was around. People sitting in the drive-through to get their damn coffee and sloppy donut or whatever. And I look, and I'm sorry to sound this way, but most of them didn't look like they were too physically fit. Okay, just sitting there, not even the ability to get out of the car and walk 10 steps and go into the store and get a cup of coffee. They sit in a drive-through to get their slop coffee from Dunkin' Donuts and their slop donut and their slop croissant or whatever shit. And this is what I'm talking. These are the people that'll cry, "Oh, we gotta wear a mask. We gotta wear a mask. There's a new variant, right?" And Trump's going to be a dictator. What do we do? It's just, and these are the kind of people, right? Just like weak-minded. You're just doing exactly what the program wants them to do. Just be a good little bot. Go get your Dunkin' Donuts. Make sure you have, you double up on your diabetes, and we'll give you more medicine. Just like that commercial too for what's the one? The little pill with the big story to tell, right? And I got that I was going to really insult, but I was going to say a pleasantly plump woman dancing around talking about how she's managing her diabetes, with this pill, Jardians, right? Is that what it's called? The little pill with the big story to tell. And they're all dancing around, eating Doritos and drinking Mountain Dew and, shoving Oreos up their ass. It's like, why don't you just go for a walk? And why don't you eat something good? I'm just trying to say this is the programming of our society. And then these are the people, that are all into that shit that want to point fingers at everybody else, and say you're this and you're that and blah, 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 and do. Quite honestly, I'm a real easygoing person. I'm open to everybody, even the people I meet. I meet people around in my day-to-day life that are wearing a mask or, I know that they don't like Trump or whatever, but I don't go out of my way to be mean to them. I'll still be pleasant and nice and have a conversation. And I'll just know, okay, I can't go, I'm not going to bring up any of this type of stuff with this person in this moment, unless I want to get them pissed off and start an argument, but it's not worth starting an argument. I don't know. I'm just so frustrated, when I heard this yesterday, because, this person, like I say, I've known this person for close to 30 years and, we have a very good relationship and and it's just like, and then to see what this person is going through and the intolerance of this is somebody, this person's partner is someone that should be supporting this person, right? If there's really something going on, there should be able to sit down and have a communication, and express, okay, this is how I feel. Excuse me. This is how you feel, Can we find a common ground to, work this out? Or is it best if we go our own ways and just people be mature and responsible instead of always crying and crying? Everything in our world is about crying and whose rights are do and whose rights blah, blah, blah. And it's like, you want your rights, man. You want your rights. Stand up, have guts. Live from your heart, be who you really are, and set your boundaries and go live your life and go do it and go put positive in the world, because nothing can stop the higher powers. And if you're living, putting positive out, that positive is going to come back to you and it's going to be part of your life. And either way, even if you live, it's not about money. It's not about being famous. It's not, none of that stuff even freaking matters. It's about does life work with you? I try to be very simple. I'm minimalistic. I don't want a lot of shit. I don't want the burden burdens of a lot of shit, right? I just want to have a smile on my face. I want to be kind to others. That's why I'm here every day, trying to share messages like this to, empower people. And I apologize for some of the, I know people who are on the other side would find this totally, deplorable and I'm insulting and, but, I'm just saying, bottom line, Trump is not a bad person, okay? I mean, it's so obvious that he's part of something bigger, and everything that he's doing, think about it, everything that he's doing is putting out all this information to bring all the criminality that's been going on in our system, all the shit that's been going on that's been keeping all of us suppressed. So forget about that you don't like them. It's just the craziest thing. Can't you get past that? And even if you don't like them, can't you see how our system is flawed? Can't you see what's going on? How can it be that these adults, political leaders from all these years, the way they fight, the way they talk to each other, the things that they do, it's just, you know what I mean? And yet, everybody going to draw that line. And again, I'm going to kind of finish it with this. I definitely think COVID is a freaking blessing to me because, before everybody was mixed in, you weren't sure, who was who. It's like, I don't know, it's like going to a party and everybody puts the same, mask on their face, right? And you don't really know who's who. Everybody seems like, they're the same, but but as soon as COVID happened, it separated, and I'll say it again, the weak from the strong. Either you got a brain in your head, that you are a critical thinker and you have some kind of intuition, you're connected. I don't even want to say it's about being smarter than everybody. I don't even call everybody stupid per se. It's more of you have an intuition, you're connected. You know that you're more than your body. You know that, there's, the universe, God's source, whatever you want to call it, that's there. And you're in tune with that. You're aligned with that. And, it's life speaks to you in just subtle ways. And I mean, I know people got sick and all. I'm not saying like COVID, but COVID didn't exist or so. I'm not saying that's not, but it's like any other flu that goes around. It is what it is, man. And if you take care of yourself and get out of the damn Dunkin' Donuts line and put the freaking Mountain Dew and shit down, you're not going to really get sick. I mean, I'm just speaking from my own experience and things I've experienced with other people, the way I do my life. I'm just, nothing's perfect. I'm not perfect. Nothing has to be 100% in any type of way. And I'm not even saying everything that I talk about, is 100%. These are my perspectives, my thoughts, my opinions as well. But I'm open to listen to others. I'm open to working with others. But we got to work from a place of getting out of spite, and it's all spite. A lot of this stuff is just so much spite going on. Does Trump do a lot of rhetoric, telling his rivals to rot in hell for Christmas? But that's funny to me because you guys, people who hate Trump, if you're one of them, you probably have never watched my show, or you're probably not watching right now, and you probably turned it off long ago and never got to this part. But if you guys can't take it with a grain of salt and see that he's playing people and it's an act, it's I don't know what to tell you, but you really want to believe in the clone, you go believe in the clone and and see if you get him back in office again, But anyway, I think a lot of things are going to change before that. Anyway, we're really moving into shit hitting the fan, as it were, so that it's more so, not to go too deep on that, because again, like I mentioned, just to finish off with the truth community thing too, there's a lot of, misinformation in that too. And, so it's easy, if you got people on that side that, are, you're like, for me, like if I believe more in that side of things and I'm trying to express stuff, and then you find that, they're charlats or whatever too, on that side, then it takes away from, the vibe and the authenticity of the movement. And the real movement is not about, who's the best truthcaster and all this kind of nonsense. I don't consider myself a truthcaster. I'm just a guy doing a show, and I just talk about what I talk about, so, we need to get away from, all that crap and go back to just center, man, and go back to center, go back to just being kind to our fellow person. We can choose the world we want to live in. That's why I say, Operation Status Quo, you choose your own flow of quo. It's simple. And we don't have to let the powers that be, enslave us, and again, most of these people who are crying and whining, just like my friends partner here whining and crying and complaining, and you're a sorry excuse, quite honestly, and you're going to put that pressure on somebody else, just like all these people out there want to put pressure on everybody else. Like more than half the country loves Trump. Does that mean everybody's a Nazi, white supremacist, terrorist, a domestic terrorist? I mean, come on, man, it's so stupid, and I don't understand how people eat it up. Just if you're one of those people and you've made it this far, and I don't know, stop watching CNN. Start doing other things. Start meditating. Start asking the universe for answers. You'd be surprised what you get, because it's too much anymore with this intolerance. These opinionated, knuckleheads. They're just so clueless, and it just really agitates me that we're still fighting this battle. But again, thank God for COVID, because now we know who's who. It really kind of, set the wheels in motion of realizing, because I never really cared about mainstream life. I never tried to engage in that way. I never, gave it my heart. I mean, I live and do, but I never realized how entrenched certain people were and really just believe in all this shit, and it's just so stupid. So I don't know what to say. I'm really sorry. I know I'm a little bit on the angry side today. I'm not mad. I love everybody. Everyone is welcome here. I'm happy to have a conversation with anybody that even if the beliefs are on the other side. But it's just so ridiculous, and there's so much weakness in our society, and I don't want to criticize individuals. I do know that it's programming. I get it, but at the same time, we're all adults here, or some people are kids, but if you are an adult, you have a responsibility to be aware of yourself, to be a critical thinker, to really look at what kind of information is being presented to you, and being active. Don't just suck it in. Don't just suck it in and spit it back out, whatever they're telling you, right? You got to do it. You got to believe it. You got to really look into it and be a critical thinker. You got to be analyzing what you're seeing, what you're hearing, what you're being told. I mean, come on, it's more than obvious that higher structures want to keep us, are not going to tell you the truth, right? I mean, come on. Come on. It's all about keeping people suppressed, keeping people in debt, keeping people stupid, keeping people fat, keeping people sick. So let's be real. So stop being freaking little bitches out there, to those of you that are. And I know you're not, because you're my audience and I love you guys. I know you're great. I know you're not bitches. If you happen to be a bitch, stop being a bitch. Heyo. And step up and take charge, and just be nice and put out positive vibes and live. We're all beautiful expressions of God, and we all have beautiful gifts to share. So stop giving your life away to a system designed to kill you. Stop fighting with your fellow person. Be respectful, be courteous, whatever the case may be. Relationships come and go, like I said, but just whatever it is, just be kind, be real, be honest with yourself. That's where all these people, they're just so closed. They're so closed, and they just want to be no, I can't. It won't be this way. No, 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 no. It's like, so anyway, that's it. Guys, come on. We're moving into the new year. It's time. It's 4 years of this freaking nonsense. Do we still want it this way, or what? Do we want to create the world we want to live in? We got to do it. It's up to us. And it's nothing grand. We don't have to go, jumping from bridges, throwing grenades. I don't know, whatever. We don't do, it comes from here. It comes from a place of peace, and we can do it. We can do it. We just got to be kind to each other and work together. And please, guys, people, if you're out there with the mainstream shit, stop. The news, I mean, all of it. Fox is shit. CNN is shit. They're all shit. Nobody's telling you anything what's really going on. So go find what's going on. Find what works for you and make the best life for yourself. And let's have a positive 2024. I think a lot of good things are going to be happening, relatively shortly. I do. I really do. I mean, things have been ramping up so much, and stuff that's kind of coming out that they're talking about now was stuff that I was hearing 4 years ago, and now it's starting to really kind of come out in the mainstream in different ways, So, let's just see how it plays out. Everything is in the timing that it's meant to be. by the universe and its perfection. So it is what it is, and we just have to roll with it. But in the meantime, like, it's up to us each day to vibe where we want to vibe and put out the positives that we want to put out, and just be respectful and kind to one another, and stop letting all this bullshit that they disseminate down through propaganda cause us to be separate from each other, because we're all one and we're a family and we should love each other. All right, that's what I got for you here today. Operation Status Quo. Operation Status Quo. Heyo. So anyway, I hope it all works out for my friend. It will. And no matter what happens, it'll be what's meant to happen. So I believe in that for all of us. So anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I love you guys out there individually as well as a group. God bless you. If you haven't done so already, I ask you to please take the time to like, subscribe, share, send this out to your friends, your family, those you love, and of course, those you despise as well. I love each and every one of you out there individually as well as a group. And until tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen, Operation Status Quo disengaged.
Is a boulevard of 10 short blocks.